Welcome to my channel, Crafts with Goddess. Today I'm going to show you how to make this mini macrame plant hanger. Please show your support by subscribing to my channel. Okay, so the materials I used are a mini terracotta plant pot, thread that I just bought from the dollar store, as well as the 4 wooden beads, scissors, a ruler, a clipboard, a Bulldog Clip, and whatever plant you want. Grabbing my ruler, I'm going to measure out 80 centimeters of thread. And cut 8 pieces in this length. Put all the thread together and fold these in half. And I want to work around this part here. So grab a new piece of thread around 30 centimeters, and I want to work around the 8 strands for about 3 centimeters. Fold the loose thread at around 4 centimeters I want to wrap it around all the threads, including the loop that I'm working with. And I want to do this so that these don't overlap. So I've done my wraps for about 3.5 centimeters. Now I want to put the end through the loop like that. Use the other loose end and pull this through, and this will tuck the end into here. Pull a little bit more, and this will pull inside this. And now you can trim this end as well. This is going to be the loop that you hang everything from. But before I finish this part, I need to wrap around the base of this loop. With another new piece of thread, I'm going to make another loop and wrap it around the whole thing. Make sure your wraps are nice and tight. So now I've done 1 centimeter here. Put this in through the loop and pull the other side to tuck it in. Trim the ends. And this is the top part. I'm just going to spread these out so that I have 4 strands in each arm. to make this easier, I'm going to clip the loop onto a clipboard, and I'm going to work each arm separately. I'm going to make a square knot, and to do this I'm going to make an L shape with the left strand. I'm going to go over the middle 2 strands, then bring the right strand over this, but bringing it up underneath the 2 middle strands and up through here. Bring this all the way up to the top, and then we're going to do this on the other side. So doing the opposite way, I'm going to make the right strand go over the middle 2 and work the left strand over this but underneath the 2 middle strands and up through here. Pull this to the top and tighten your knot slightly. And this is how you make a square knot. So you want to continue to do this for 10 sets. A little side note, see the little vertical notch here on the right side going downwards? You want to continue your work matching the side that this is on. So if you ever put your work down and need to continue your pattern but you can't remember where you've left off, you just look at that little notch and you can continue from that same side. So here it's on the right, so I'm going to work from the right. As you can see here, the next notch is on the left side. So you want to do 10 sets of your square knots on each of the arms like this. So as you can see here, the middle threads are longer than the outer 2, and for this reason I'm going to add my beads in an unorthodox way. Grab the outer threads and pull them into the middle and separate previous middle strands to the outer edges. I'm going to add my bead to the new middle 2 strands, and I'm going to work a square knot around them, and this will hold the beads in place. I'm going to work the square knots for 10 sets. Do this for each arm. Just another side note, here I've got my work attached to the clipboard, and I found it easier to attach the middle strands that I'm working with to the bottom of the board using a Bulldog Clip. So when I'm working my square knots, it's easier to handle the threads, as you can see here. So if you ever notice that you make a mistake, you can unravel your work with your fingers. I'm just using a hair clip. Just pull the horizontal middle strands. Just remember, when you start again, make sure that your strands are on the correct side and you're working in the correct direction. Now that I've got all 4 arms made, I'm going to set them where I think they'll look nice on the pot. So these are going to sit on the edge of the pot, and I'm going to start working square knots around the pot. I'm going to split these all into 2 and alternate the 4 strands that I use for the next step. So I'm only going to use 2 from this arm and 2 from the other arm for now. So this is going to sit there, and I want them to join up here. Move the other arms out of the way. This time when we're making the square knots, we won't be pulling them to the top. Instead, we're going to set them around 2.5 centimeters down the middle strands. And just tighten them slightly. And don't worry if your middle strands are loose, you can always pull them to adjust them. Now I'm going to continue this around with the other strands, making sure that I'm doing my square knots in the same distance, so that 2.5 centimeters. Just to match what we did, and so it keeps your work even. And continue to work on the next sets of strands. Now working on the last strand, I'm going to flip this around just to make it even. Make sure that the threads are facing the correct way, and continue a square knot. Sorry if it's a little hard to see. And again, doing the same distance as before, and adjusting them if you need. And tighten them if you need to as well. Now let's check how they look on the pot. Place the pot in gently, and don't forget the ends of the arms are going to sit on the edge. To do the next step, I'm going to alternate the strands again, so I'm going to do 2 from here and 2 from these two, and join them up here. And this is going to be the same distance that we did in the last step, so the 2.5 centimeters. And we want to do this all around with all the other strands. I like to keep checking where it sits on the pot so that I can adjust anything that needs fixing, and just to check that it's all looking good. Again, we're going to alternate the strands that we use for the next step. So 2 from these ones on the left, and 2 from these on the right. So make sure that you're using the correct 4 strands and that the strands are facing the correct way. Start making your square knot, and again the same distance as before, the 2.5 centimeters. And again, gently put the pot in to see how everything is looking. So I'm going to do this one more time around so that the threads are sitting nicely at the bottom of the pot. This time I will make the distance a little shorter, as this will be sitting near the bottom and you won't actually see them. So as you can see here, they aren't the same distance, but they are fairly close. So I'm just going to check how they look on the pot again, and by checking I can just adjust anything that might not look right or looks uneven. So to end this, I'm going to use another strand of thread, and I'm going to wrap around the bottom threads like I did at the beginning with the loop. So make a loop with this thread like that. I'm going to go around from the top and wrap around all these. Holding the loose thread in place. And keeping an eye on that loops, as I will be placing the end of this thread through at the end. Make sure that the wraps aren't overlapping so that looks nice and neat. Now place that through the loop. Pull that top strand upwards to pull that bottom strand into the wraps. And pull both ends to tighten them. Now you can trim the top thread. Now you can trim all the bottom threads. I'm just cutting it where the shortest thread is, and make sure you use sharp scissors, it makes it a lot easier. Now you're just about done. Just gently place the pot back inside the macrame. and making sure that the threads are facing the correct way, not twisted like this one. Pull these softly and just set them evenly around the pot. All that's left is to add a plant. So I've placed a fake succulents inside, and here's a photo of this in my car. What do you all think? I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please subscribe to my channel, this would really help me out, and leave a comment if you gave it a go. I'd love to hear from you. See you all next time. Bye!